Here we are again, week 2, Thursday, still factoring, still in the Howard kitchen. Sounds like we're going to be here through the middle of May. Oh joy. Let's get right to it. I wrote down 3 problems from your homework from last week. You do not have to write those 3 problems down. I would like you to write this blurb and then the examples that I do on the next page. But the 3 things I'm just going to talk about. You already have this. If you want to pull out your day 4 homework from last week, feel free to. Hit a pause, find it, pull it out. But I want to show you some stuff because we're going to be going backwards. We're going to be taking the trinomial and come up with the product of 2 binomials. We're going to go from the second line to the first line. We're working backwards. That's what factoring is undoing that multiplication. So we're undoing not just distribution today, but double distribution. And the rules are a little bit different, but you can handle it. I have the best students. All right, so I'd like you to notice that we had 20 at the end. Well, what do you do with 4 and 5 to get 20? Oh, you multiply them. On the flip side, what do you do with 4 and 5 to get 9? Oh, you add them. Hold that thought. What do you do with -3 and 9 to get -27? Multiply. What do you do with -3 and 9 to get 6? Oh, you combine them or add them. Spoiler alert, number 3 is going to do the same. What do you do with 14 and -2 to get -28? Oh, you multiply them. And what do you do with 14 and -2 to get 12? You add them. So we're going to take that knowledge, that stuff that you proved true last week on day 4 with your homework assignment, and we're going to take these 3 trinomials and we're going to break them down into the product of 2 binomials, or, 2 sets of parentheses being multiplied. All right, so the first thing I want you to do every single time, and I want to see this on your homework, I want you to show the work, so please show it in your notes so that when you're doing the homework with your notes sitting right by your side, you'll be like, oh yeah, I had to show that. The last number was multiplied. The last 2 parts were multiplied to get that last term. So it was factored. So I want you to list all the factors of 12. It's handy if you do them in order. So factors of 12. 1 times what? Well, 12. 2 times what? 6. 3 times what? 4. 5 times what? Nothing. 6. Oh, I already have 6. So I'm going to stop as soon as I start to see duplicates. Which one of these pairs would combine to give you the middle term, or add to give you the middle term? I like the word combine because we're going to deal with positives and negatives. Aha, the 2 and the 6. So in my double set of parentheses, my 2 binomials, my x squared will always break down into x times x. There's no other option. And then I'm going to take the pair that multiplies to 12 and combines to 8, which was 2 and 6. And I would have to put plus signs in between them, so they multiply to give me a positive 12, and so they combine to give me a positive 8. Congratulations, you just factored your first trinomial. I like to call it the regular trinomial because we have fancy trinomials coming up next week, but don't worry. Number 2, factors. Don't worry about the sign on the 15 yet. We'll deal with that, I promise. Just factors of 15. Again, in order is really handy. So 1 times 15, 2, nope, 3, oh yeah, 3 times 5, 4 doesn't go in at all, and then there's no more numbers between 3 and 5, so I'm not concerned about checking anymore. Now we have a trickster because it is -15. So I'm looking for the pair that with certain signs could combine to give me 2. So think about it. Could 1 and 15 in any way, shape, or form combine to give you 2? Nada. Could 3 and 5 in any way, shape, or form combine to give you 2? Yeah, and some of you struggle with positives and negatives. Have your calculator sitting by your side. Check it out. Don't trust yourself when you know it's something you struggle with. But if I have x and 3 and x and 5, if I'm going to get positive 2 when I add them together, when I combine them together, my 5 would have to have the positive and my 3 the negative. And do what I call the eyeball check. You don't have to do a formal check. You don't have to show me the double distribution. I just want you to check, is -3 times 5 -15? It is. Is -3 combined with 5 equal to 2? It is. Then you're correct. Let's try the -30 down here. Again, don't worry about the negative until we get down to the nitty-gritty of what sign's going to go where. Factors of 30, 1 times 30. 30 has a lot. 2 times 15. 3 times what? If you need to, grab your calculator, hit 30 divided by 2. 30 divided by 3. You get 10. Does 4 go in? How about 5? Yeah, 5 times what gives you 30? 6. And there's no numbers between 5 and 6, so I've probably found all the factors that I need. Now, I need them to combine to give me not just negative x, but negative, oops, what number is hiding there? Negative 1x. So, still breaking down x squared as x times x. They'll always come first as long as x squared is first. Careful if I put a squared or m squared, that I change the letters. All right, which pair could combine to give you negative 1? Not 1 and 30, not 2 and 15, not 3 and 10, probably 5 and 6. What signs would you have to have on them in order to get negative 1? And also multiply to give you negative 30. Since it's negative 30, I know I need opposite signs. 1 positive and 1 negative. Which one's going to get which to get negative 1 is your answer? Dig deep in your rules from when you first were introduced to negatives. 6th grade, 7th grade, I don't know when that happens. And keep in mind, the larger number has to keep the sign. So I'm going to put 5 and 6 in, and since it has to be negative 1, my larger number is going to get that negative. So that when I put them together, I end up with negative 1. Eyeball check. Don't laugh at that idea. Do the check. 5 times negative 6, is that negative 30? And is 5 combined with negative 6 give you negative 1? Check it with your calculator. Hit 5 plus negative 6 equals. Don't be slugs. And I've got time for at least one more. I'll try to keep the numbers kind of small. Factors of what? Always my last term. 1 times 8. 2 times what? And that's all I got. I need a pair that when I combine would give me negative 2. And ooh, what kind of signs do I need? I need opposite signs. Because it's negative 8. I don't think you're going to do anything with 1 and 8 to get 2 ever. Because 1 and 8 is either 9 or 7, or negative 9 and negative 7. That's nowhere close to 2. So I'm going to assume it's 2 and 4. Good math thought there. X and 2, X and 4. Signs. We already said opposite signs, 1 plus 1 negative. Since it's negative in the middle, my larger number has to get that sign. So negative 4 and positive 2. Side note, it does not matter which you put first. All that matters is that the 4 has the negative and the 2 has the positive. Okay? Let's do one more for good measure. X squared plus 3x minus 40. Hit the pause, see if you can write out the factors yourself. 1 and 40, 2 and 20. I mean it, hit pause. Now that you've unpaused, 3 doesn't go in, 4 does, 5 does, not 6, not 7, and there's no other numbers in between 5 and 8, so I can stop checking. All right, opposite signs again. So 1 will be plus, 1 will be minus. What do they have to combine to give me? What is my middle term? I call this my first, my middle, my last. Middle term is 3. 1 and 40, no. 2 and 20, no. 4 and 10, that could give me 6, still not 3. So 5 and 8. I'll put 5 in one and 8 in the other. It doesn't matter which one gets which. It's the sign that matters on the number. Since it's positive 3, my larger number will have to get that positive so that when I combine them, my answer is positive. So larger number is 8, and my smaller number of 5 will get the negative. All right? Go check out the homework. Do it. If things go horribly wrong, I'll just email you back and say, hey, let's take a look at those signs. You'll be okay. We'll make it through. All right. Hope all is well. I look forward to our review assignment tomorrow on Friday. Take care.